Choo-choo.
One of the most magical ways to get around anywhere, whether it be the U.S. or Canada, Hogwarts, Christmas, is
Christmas.
Trains, right? Don't you think?
It's true.
There's a romance to it. There's stories. I mean, it's fantastic.
I choose trains.
Yeah. I like what you did there.
You do?
I wasn't ready with the response.
Well, I know it's not a trailer, but
it kind of is.
I have actually taken a camping trip with my dad, and we ended up riding a train. And then we went to a specific destination to do this train ride. Yeah. And it was my first time on a train, and holy crap, it was so much fun. I want to do it again. So
absolutely. Today
we're going to talk about some of the coolest and most scenic train routes in the U.S. And if you're near one of them while you're camping, by golly, go for it.
Sure. Absolutely. Welcome to the RV Small Talk podcast, where we talk about library trailers, truck campers, and the people, places, and adventures that go right along with them. We are your hosts from Princess Craft RV. I'm Clint.
And I'm matching Clint, even though we didn't plan it. How's that for some mind melding?
I give you a high five and you aren't crying.
I know, but did you see? I bit my lower lip when we wound up.
Out of fear? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a tape. It's ingrained in me now. You've done that to me. It's like flinching when you walk through a doorway, except for with Clint, it's a high five. I have to brace myself because I've done that dozens of times.
Yeah, you've made that mistake. Hey, we don't have PJ here with us for this episode. Once again, out and about traveling with your dad, actually.
Yeah, doing businessy stuff.
How does your mom know your dad?
How does my mom know my dad? She was a bartender and he was a truck driver.
Oh, this is a good country song. This is a 70s country song, isn't it?
It's such a great story.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get her to do story time when she's back. I digress. This podcast is, 174 or something along those lines. You'll have to check out rvsmalltalk.com to find out not only what number it is and
because we don't know,
but you'll also need to check out previous episodes there. You can find us on other places. Just look up RV Small Talk Podcast. You'll find us different places. How about we go into that camping experience that you did? Where was it?
I know. I was afraid you were going to ask me that.
Yeah, I'm asking.
I don't remember.
What kind of train was it? Was it a steam train?
It was a train that goes choo-choo. No, It was not a steam train.
Okay.
I don't think. Maybe.
But
it wasn't.
So you went to a destination to camp. How old were you? Do you recall? Maybe this is why you don't remember
2
much.
2 years ago.
2 years ago?
Yeah.
It's just 2 years ago?
It was my very first train ride.
And you don't remember?
I took No, I don't remember the name of the place.
Was it in state?
Yes.
Okay. And were you maybe camping around Longhorn Caverns and Inks Lake and all that?
Maybe.
So you were probably in the hill country, riding the Hill Country Flyer, which is that they do like a tourist train ride between some of the small towns like Burnett and all that in Central Texas.
Was that it?
It might be. Unless, yeah, I forget some of the charts.
You keep talking about trains really quick. Mm-hmm. I'm going to text my dad.
Yeah, very good. That'll work.
Because he will know and he'll tell me, but it was a really cool experience. My son was 6 at the time. So
perfect age.
Yeah. We brought Go Fish cards on the train but really, the best part was looking out the window.
Mm-hmm. Seeing the world go by.
It is so cool because you see it in movies all the time and you read about it in books and just being on a train is fun. I don't know why. It's some kind of childhood
magical
thing where trains are fun.
Yep. So,
how many trains have you ridden?
How about I tell you how many train trips I've taken, because I've had to switch trains in those trips. So,
are you counting Amtrak and stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I've taken a pretty much around much of the country Amtrak trip. So I've seen stuff. I've seen things. So 1 around the country, 2, 3. I've probably got about 10 Amtrak or otherwise or tourist trains in the U.S. and I've taken multiple trains in Asia.
So what is your favorite thing about riding on a train?
It's one of those things that's hard to put into words, but it is this feeling because you're kind of gliding through a landscape, a place. You're traveling not alone, like you are with, just alone or with people that your family and all that, but it's open enough that you can move about, you can see other people, you can hear other people, you can still have some community, and yet just outside the window, this almost magical way of looking at the world is just zipping by.
What is your least favorite thing about riding on a train?
So the train system in the United States is set up in such a way that they are pretty fantastically not on time. Almost all the time. My first leg of the around the country trip was Austin to Chicago when I was it was the summer between my 6th and 7th grade year. And we arrived in Chicago like 9 hours late. And,
wow.
Yeah. And the reason is in the United States, my understanding is Amtrak, the government railway system for passengers to get around the country, they don't actually own any stretch of the track. It's all owned by by the companies that ship like coal and car parts and all that. So it's all freight.
So
railways.
They have to run on other people's time.
Right. So they have to basically pull to the side.
Right.
So the right of way goes to freight and they rent time, basically, is my understanding.
So that old timey image that you have of the guy standing outside of the train with his pocket watch that's not. We've gotten away from that. Is that what you're saying?
No. So the experience of the train station, depending on the train station, you can still have that experience.
The pocket watch, it's just not on time.
It's just that the pocket watch is just to tell you, hey, we're leaving in 3 minutes. Like even if we arrived late, you got 3 minutes.
Oh, I see.
So get on board because we're going to try to make up time.
I see. So let's go through some of the best train rides in the USA for seriously gorgeous views, depending on where in the country you are.
Yeah. So the first one, what do you got? The Rockies?
Rockies to Red Rock. So it goes from Denver, Colorado to Moab, Utah.
Yeah. So here's the deal. You can find incredible train rides anywhere, but if it's already a scenic place and a train happens to be running through it, see if you can get on that train. If there's mountains, if there's forests, or you're near a beach, and there's a train there, ride it because it's epic. It almost, you can't go wrong.
This one is super cool. I mean, obviously it's in the mountains. Obviously there's going to be some beautiful views, but this train actually has like the rounded glass top. So there's no, I mean, you can see the sky above you. And I mean, the window is the whole ceiling and sides. Unobstructed views of some of the most beautiful places in the US.
Yes.
I am on board. I want it. I want to go to there. This is something I absolutely want to do because, being from Texas, I'm mesmerized by mountains anyway.
Exactly.
It's almost comical. Like if I go someplace with mountains and I'm like, wow, like I know it's beautiful, but I literally will sit and stare at a mountain because I'm like, I live in Texas. We don't see things that go up. We see flat things, and we got some pretty big hills, but I still have to travel a few hours to see those.
The westest of Texas is where you're going to see the most mountainous places in Texas, and they aren't huge.
And they're still super far away from us.
Right.
I mean, we're in Texas. It takes 2 days to get there. If you're, sleeping adequately. This train actually goes from August to October. So
that makes perfect sense because, I mean, obviously snowed in mountain passes and just for safety reasons and all that.
Well, and if the snow lands on top of the train while it's moving, you won't be able to see anything.
They should have a man out there squeegeeing it
to give you the best view.
Yeah. or like your rear window in your vehicle has the electrical wires in it that you can turn on the defroster, and they should just run some defrosters. I bet that would take a lot of electricity though.
I wonder whose job it is to shine these windows. Anyway, I mean, it's a 2-day ride from Denver to Moab. It goes through the Rocky Mountains, and
2 days.
2 days on this train, and we're talking about glass ceiling.
Yeah.
It is so cool looking.
So here's my thought on this. I know that we're talking to an RVing crowd, but RVs always to me is you can focus on just the RVing and the camping, or you can expand it a little bit. You can RV and camp so you can do other things. And if you want to see some unique places in unique ways, you just RV your way to the starting point and you securely lock away your RV and go ride the train. 2 days there, 2 days back, and then you're back to your RV. Nothing wrong with the trip like that.
No. I think that's pretty common. And there are a lot of train rides that are just one day. Like you can go
sure.
ride and then go back that
we'll be
night.
Talking about some
yeah. They're not all multi-day trips, but this is definitely top of my list of.
And this one's accessible. If it starts in Denver and goes up to Moab and back again, this is very accessible to us. Denver's not that, I mean, it's what, a 17,
everything
18
is
hour
relative.
drive.
Yeah.
For us, it's about 17 or 18 hours. So take a week. You take a couple days to get there and camping, and then you ride the thing there and back, and you take it a couple days back. There's your week. And it's been an epic adventure.
Do you know what I love about train rides?
What? Don't say the dining car, because it's not as magical as it used to be.
No, it's definitely not. Drinks are hella expensive. You don't have to worry about any kind of like GPS or taking a wrong turn or getting lost.
Yeah,
I mean
the wrong turn thing.
You get to have all the photo ops and scenic views without even having to stop and without having to worry about side roads. I mean, it's super cool. This one is called the Coast Starlight. It goes from LA to Seattle, Washington.
I've been on this one.
Really?
Yeah, but I want to say 12. And we went all the way from Seattle. So this is that trip where I went up to Chicago, and then we went across the top of the United States into Washington. I climbed.
You climbed a mountain.
Climbed a mountain, but not all the way to the top because it was a weather event. We saw Mount St. Helens, and then why can I not remember the peak up there? That's bizarre because it's just like the peak.
Well. So does this, I mean, I would assume if you're going from LA to Seattle that it's like coast the whole way.
You know, in some stretches, you actually pull away from the coast and you're more inland and all that. But the nice thing about the coast over there on the west coast of the United States is you're not far from either. So from either right on the coast or really beautiful forests and mountains.
Yeah.
They're just a few miles separation. So you're getting everything except for desert until you make the curve, in the south to head back towards Texas like I did. So, yeah. Now
on this railroad, the dining car is cool.
Yes. Yeah, there are stretches, and this is where you do your research and maybe find people who do Amtrak trips and all that. Do your research. Some have incredible dining cars and viewing cars, and some trains don't have a dining car at all. You just have to do your research.
So my dad said I rode on the Texas State Railroad from Rusk to Palestine.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I forget that run is out there. Yeah. That's more East Texas.
Well, it was awesome.
Yeah. Cool.
Highly recommend.
Cool.
And it was like I think it was like a 2 hour, maybe 2 hours. And you go and then like you stop at this train station and you eat a burger. Yeah. And then you get back on the train and go back.
I love it.
And it was really, really, really fun.
I would do that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Coast Starlight. Yeah. I don't know what else to say about that one, but it looks gorgeous.
Yeah. So, and the nice thing is you can really plan your trip. You can plan your stops. It's for tourists, but it's also for commuters and all that. That's kind of the way it was designed. You can get off and pick up elsewhere. You know what? One thing that I forget to mention always is there's such a thing as a U.S. Rail Pass, where you basically pay a subscription, if you will, to get on and get off trains at whim.
All right. Number 3, the Grand Canyon Railway. All right.
This is obvious. Do this trip.
Where is it? I've been to the Grand Canyon, but I had no idea. I've been to the Grand Canyon several times, and I did not know that there was a railway.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, and obviously it's going to be a little bit more of that Midwest feel, Midwest, old dusty West. It's going to feel like you're in an old Western.
Old Western.
A spaghetti Western, but no spaghetti sauce.
Why did they call it spaghetti Western?
Because so many of those old Westerns were actually recorded or filmed in Italy.
That's why they call them spaghetti Westerns?
Yeah, they were actually shot in Italy.
Why?
Because I'm guessing, I'm going out on a limb. Some historian's going to know better than me, but it was because of the way the unions, the contracts, and how, the expense of it all. You could shoot Westerns more cheaply in Italy than you could in the U.S.
I didn't know that any part of Italy looks like the Wild West.
And you know what? A lot of people who really loved Westerns have no idea what the Wild West actually looks like or what Italy looks like. So it didn't even matter. It's all about the story. Because
is true.
Because really, if you want really good storytelling, old Westerns.
Well, this was a fun.
With a straight face.
This is a really fun lesson. God. Okay. Back to the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're gonna be prairies and longhorns and bald eagle spotting and.
Yeah. Absolutely. Cuddling up with tarantulas and snakes, buzzards.
No.
Tumbleweeds.
No.
Wile E. coyotes and roadrunners.
It goes along the south rim of the Grand Canyon. And
gorgeous area.
You get some pine forest there too. You'll get some trees. I mean, why not? If you're going to the Grand Canyon, do all the things, right? Like walk and look and then ride a donkey down to the bottom and then ride a burro back up. And then
did you say donkey down, burrow up?
Yes.
Burrowing is for down.
I know.
You burrow down.
You burrow anywhere that burro wants to take you. And then take the train wide.
Don't mean to harass you, but you got that wrong.
Do you want to talk about the next one?
The Empire Builder.
Now, what a cheesy name for a train.
So I've been on this one.
I mean, did you make the name?
No.
Okay.
But it's because of it being higher latitude across the top of the contiguous 48 states. It goes between Chicago and Portland, which would kind of follows the expansion of the United States, the empire, if you will. That's my understanding of why it was kind of named such. But to see a really good cross section of the vastness of the United States, from almost sea to shining sea, this is an incredible trip. And if you're looking for a summertime route that maybe isn't so hot as it is in Texas, take this. Don't take the Texas Flyer because it's going to be hot in the summertime. Take this one because it's going to have all those nice kind of temperatures for your summertime train riding. You're not going to be on time. But you're going to be more comfortable and it's going to be beautiful. I remember going across like Montana and whatnot, and there were people flying their ultralights. You know, ultralights. It's like a hang glider with a engine on it.
Yeah.
And they were just flying back and forth over the train. And here we are in a viewing car with our games and our snacks and all that and our books, just loving life as preteens do. And then you just see these ultralights just flying over you back and forth.
That is crazy.
Because I guess that's what you do in the Midwest.
So am I correct on saying this train will go through like urban areas as well as forested areas? So you kind of get a little bit of both. The whole trip is about 46 hours. And thoughts loading. Her thoughts are loading. Oh, it goes through Big Sky Country.
Yes, which is where the ultralights are.
Which is where the sky is bigger.
It is. Physically measured out by some scientists long ago. Physically.
Unless the earth is flat.
My brain hurts.
We don't talk about all that
so
on the podcast.
My grandparents every few years would do a train trip, typically on the on the Canadian Railway, which I hear is on time. And I thought that was magical. And I think this particular run, the Empire Builder, is probably as close as you can get to that experience, because I mean they're not separated by just all that many miles.
Right. They're just on the other side.
Both run east to west and west to east and back again. Apparently you can take the train both ways.
Apparently trains go both ways.
But this is the closest experience I can think of on the Amtrak on the US side that would match what you would see somewhat. I do want to do the Canadian trip sometime though. Mostly to see if it's on time. That
would be fun. What about a train ride in Alaska? There's the Alaska Denali Star that goes from Anchorage, Alaska to Fairbanks. It's 350-mile stretch through Alaska. I just like trying to picture that in my head is like mind blowing. Yeah, I think this one might be number one on my list. Not like I'm going to head up to Alaska anytime soon, but
why not?
Not anytime soon.
How much PTO have you not used?
A lot. But oh my gosh, just talk about life-changing, taking a train ride through Alaska.
I believe my dad and stepmom did this trip.
I can't even, I can picture in my head what it would look like, but you know how like when you see it, it's just more than you ever thought it would be.
Yeah, this is the trip that I would do. You know, I picture really fantastical trips like the what's the Christmas train movie? The Express? The Christmas Express?
The Polar Express.
That's the one. Wow, we are really struggling today.
We are both parents. We should know this.
So this one is probably, to me, going to be one of the more accessible ways to get that feeling that I'm in that kind of an adventure, unless I could get on a European train. I think a European train would really like put me in that mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah. So easy access, still in the US. All you got to do is boat or fly there or crawl there.
I mean, it's worth noting for people who like to travel and see new things. This is obviously an experience that you can't get any other way, is traveling by train through Alaska. There is like an upgrade you can do to your seat. It's called the Gold Star upgrade. And what it does is it allows you to go to an open air 2-story viewing deck, essentially. So you can
see the mooses and the caribous.
Yeah, you can stick your head out. You can feel the freezing air. But gosh, talk about breathtaking. Definitely a bucket list item for me.
And we know we have a lot of customers here in Texas. We have a lot of people who buy RVs, particularly truck campers, who go to Alaska. Lots of our Texans go to Alaska with their rigs.
We like fantasize about cold weather so much that Alaska becomes like a really important destination for us.
All right. So this next one, I have been on no train in this area, and I haven't even spent all that much time in this part of the U.S., but I really want to. It feels, from an American standpoint,
like a staple.
It feels like a staple, but it also feels ancient.
It does feel ancient. I have not spent a lot of time in this area either.
So this is the Great Smoky Mountains Railroad. And I mean, it's for America. It's old timey area.
It is old timey. It's in Bryson City, North Carolina, and it's a smaller train than maybe these other adventures we're talking about. But yeah, I mean, there's something about the Smoky Mountains where it's like Americans are like called to it. Like it has this nostalgic thing, even if you've never been there. It's
a little bit clickety clackety. It's a little bit rusty feeling, and you have to slow down. And this is the right way. I think this is the right way to slow down. One of the right ways. I think there's multiple. I think you need to drive an antique car through this area.
Auga.
I think you need to take a short wagon ride through this area. I think you need to, there's so many ways to experience this part of the U.S. that would be like you're forcing yourself to slow down. I feel very Mark Twainish. Mark Twainish.
And
when I think about this area.
If you're one of those people who makes... Man, we are really having trouble with words right now. I am so sorry.
Words is hard.
Words is hard. If you're one of those people who like to plan around like the changing of leaves and the foliage, all of that, this is your train route because you're going to get colors out the yin yang. I need to stop talking.
I see how you balanced that.
I see how I really wanted to say something and then I turned and then it wasn't as smooth. But yeah, this is great for nostalgia and leaves changing colors.
All right. The Mount Washington Cog Railway. So do you know what makes a cog railway?
No, I don't.
So think about in a watch, you have these gears or whatever.
I know what a cog is.
Yeah, so it's the train actually pulls itself, uses the torque, whereas most trains have these kind of smooth round wheels and there's enough friction generated there that they can grip and still roll forward and all that. But a cog train is for places that have really crazy inclines and declines. So it has teeth that pull you along. It's a cog that pulls you along the railway, both uphill and downhill, so you can make sure you're under control, ascending and descending.
Does it feel different? Is it like da-dunk, 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 da-dunk?
I don't know that I could say that it feels all the difference. The only cog railway I've been on was the railway going up Pikes Peak. So I don't know that I can say it felt that different from that standpoint, but man, you feel like you're going to fall out of your chair if you're facing one way or falling, being pressed into your chair facing the other way. Oftentimes these cog railways are also a smaller gauge. I don't know if this one is. It's, again, the Mount Washington Cog Railway, and it picks up in Brenton Woods, New Hampshire. It
says you have an elevated feel of a gondola. So I guess cog trains are higher off the ground, so you feel a little bit more.
Maybe so. And if it's going up a mountain past it, then you're probably going to have a bit of a drop off on one side. So that also would make you feel more elevated and dangerous.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
What about the Napa Valley wine train? Talk about fun.
Okay. It's got to be a spectacular view.
Napa Valley, California. Yeah. It's got to be a spectacular view. And I mean, I'm sure there is all kinds of.
Can you imagine?
Stop. I'm done talking.
Yeah, there's got to be, if you ride this thing with the right amount of time, then you can get on, get off, do your stops, and have some real wine country experiences. Now, I'm not going to say, never let it be said that I am holding Napa Valley wineries in more esteem than Central Texas wineries, because
we're a bit biased.
I'll probably get run out of the state. But I do believe it's bound to be such a different experience that you might as well enjoy it for all it's worth. So if you have the time and you can experience the West Coast wineries, then why not do it this way?
It sounds, I mean, just taking a train through wine country.
Yeah.
My goodness. Gather the girls. We're going.
And you already have a driver built in. So, I mean, just
drink all the wine you want.
It's grape juice, I swear. What? Nothing. Okay. So, yes, I think that this would be beautiful. It's obviously in a beautiful part of the country with good weather much of the year. I can't think of anything that would hold me back from doing this, whether it be December or June, really.
Yeah, absolutely. So we talked about the Alaskan Railway as being like on my bucket list. I think this next one, the Hawaiian Railway Society, would be right there with Alaska. I mean, like it'd be a toss up of which one I'd want to do first.
Yeah, but this would be the most unique, I think.
And when I think of Hawaii, I guess I didn't know there was trains in Hawaii, but I guess why wouldn't there be?
Right.
But it's just not something that you think of. When I think of trains, I think of, either Texas or the mountains. Yeah. But wait a minute, Hawaii is like this island and they have this too. And it's in Oahu.
Yeah. I mean, they just have so much scenery. Why would you not want to experience it this way?
It's a 90-minute train ride. I mean,
that's a perfect length. Perfect time.
My goodness. You get to go to ghost towns, and you get to go to a part of Hawaii that not very many people get to see because you're on a train. So you get to go to some different places.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the cars are a little bit more open. It might even be a smaller train in general, smaller engine, smaller cars, just a more connected to the environment kind of experience. I mean, what a wild place.
It would just be so much fun. You do need reservations to ride this one. You can't just like show up and buy a ticket. So if you're planning on going to Hawaii, obviously not with your camper, then check it out.
However, on that note, there are quite a few places you can rent campers and still RV in Hawaii.
I'm sure.
So if you want to stick to that experience because it's just the way you like to visit places, get over there and RV and ride trains.
It's all possible.
This one I have definitely done. I wanted to do it a couple years ago with the kids, but timing wise and honestly expense wise, it was kind of expensive. The Durango Narrow Gauge Railroad. I've ridden this between Durango and Silverton, Colorado, and back again. Really, really, really cool, rustic, old time through mountain passes. If you want like terrifying drop offs on one side, flat cliff faces on the other side, this is the train ride. This one will make you grip your seat a little bit. It's narrow gauge, which I think just goes back to when railroads were established, some companies that were developing them they just didn't talk. They were in competition. Or another thing might be because of how hard it was to cut the passes through the mountains, they might have just gone with narrower gauge to make sure that they could more efficiently get the equipment in and out. I don't really know for sure. The rails are closer together. You think you're going to teeter off. You don't. It's fine. They've been doing it for years.
Oh, now I'm scared.
Beautiful. This is a mesmerizing ride.
So this is a 45-mile route? Okay, so how long did it take you?
I was a preteen then too.
Couple hours?
Trip.
I mean,
honestly, I was probably 8 or 9 years old on this trip. And I was not watching the clock.
No, that's not what you did when you were 8 or 9 years old.
No, I was just blown away by it. But if you look here, it winds between 14,000 foot high peaks. This is your train, Lindsay. If you get crazy about mountains, this is the one. And it's in western Colorado, southwest Colorado, which is kind of where my family likes to go for fly fishing and rafting and things like that.
This is just, I mean, I don't know much about trains, but this is just a cool looking train
That's
too.
an old steam engine. Yeah.
This train, it says it's been rolling between Durango and Silverton since 1882.
Yeah.
So there's probably gum under the seat.
A lot of old stank to it. The right kind.
The good kind. The Ethan Allen Express is our last one, and it goes from New York City to Burlington, Vermont. Talk about color change.
Yeah, this is your fall train.
Wow.
Yeah. I feel like you would need to do some clam chowder or something like that. Not clam chowder, lobster rolls, maybe lobster rolls on this trip.
This is a 5.5 hour journey. And I can't imagine the views that you get going through the Vermont and the Green Mountains. And then you land in a charming little city called Rutland. And you go to the farmer's market and you go to the downtown square and yeah, that sounds like a great day.
This is what I would do. I would make this a day trip or a single overnighter. Absolutely. This would be easy to turn into that. You know, we got 2 days. What are we going to do? Hop on the train, ride up, spend the night, enjoy just a quiet small town, and then hop on the train and ride back all refreshed. I love it.
I can't think of like I don't know. I think adding a train ride to your camping trip, to your destination, really is like one of the most unique and kind of nostalgic things you could do. Stories. I mean, obviously they're wonderful for kids.
They are.
Because it's just so fun.
Yeah. And as someone who's oftentimes in the driver or passenger seat while we're hauling a trailer somewhere and the kids are in the back seat, you're there, you can have conversations, but you're all buckled in and all that. I guess it was last year, I took the kids on just a short Amtrak ride because it was time. We caught it in Taylor, Texas, which has, it's not really a train station. It's a train stop.
Yeah.
But the guy does come out and hold his watch and tell you to get on quickly.
Well, Taylor's like real close to me.
It is.
I'll go check it out.
It is. And so we got on in Taylor and we rode up to Fort Worth where Laura's sister's family lived. They picked us up. We spent the night and we rode back. But first off, the trains down here in Texas typically aren't so used that, we found rows and rows and rows of empty seats. In fact, I think our car had 6 people on it for the stretch that we were on. Right. Once you get closer to the Northeast and all that, you get way more passengers. But down here, not too many. You can move around. You can change cars. You can go to the dining car. It's cool. You can point out the window. You can have real conversations with your kid versus, not paying attention to the road, so you can turn around and yell at them.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that are just different because you're not driving and you're not seatbelted.
But you still get to get there.
You still get to get there, and there's something magical about trains.
I want to know, I'm sure there's one that is just amazing that we didn't mention. And I don't know. I really love this. I'm going to make a plan to definitely ride more trains, especially with my kids. So if there's one that you really, really love, can you please tell me about it?
And Canadians, just tell us how much better your rail system is than ours, because it's true.
It is. You can drop us a line or post on Facebook. We actually have a RV Small Talk page there and an RV Small Talk community. Let me know, which trains you've ridden that you've liked the most, because I think I'm gonna pick one and plan a trip around it soon.
Nice.
So let me know.
PTO time, Lindsay.
That's right.
By golly.
We also have, untrain related, the Texas Tiny Trailer Rally coming up. Now, by the time this podcast comes out, you are really skating the line here, but we welcome everybody. So no matter where you bought your trailer, how big it is, check out TexasTinyTrailerRally.com. You can register for the one on October 11th through 15th. We also have another one in the spring that is a week after that big solar eclipse. So we got eclipses at both rallies, or around both rallies. In prime viewing area, the rally is free. All the classes are free. The dinner, the music is free. Only thing you have to pay for is your reservation at the park. So if you are new, if you are a new trailer owner, this is a wonderful place to gather all the information. If you've been camping for years, this is a wonderful place to help other people learn, or just to show off your cool trailer. We get all kinds of crazy stuff. So check out TexasTinyTrailerRally.com. We have them twice a year. So we're just going to keep talking about it because I think they're cool as hell and you should show up.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you again for joining us for this episode of the RV Small Talk podcast, and go find yourself a train to ride. Make some memories that way with yourself and with your loved ones and your friends. And some of these trains will let you bring your dog.
Really?
So, yeah, absolutely.
Choo choo.
So we'll see you next time.
Bye.